fabulous. Okay, so we shall start. So as I mentioned previously, we are going through everything social media related today. And this will be around a 30-minute webinar. So we'll try and get through anything. And of course, if anyone does have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. So before I get started, I'll do a little bit of an introduction to Start Digital, and then we'll ask Stacey if she can do an introduction to herself as well. So for Start Digital, our whole aim is to try and help other businesses. And if you would like any further support from any of our team, I will put a link in the chat where you can just fill in a bit of information and you can get some support through a fact find that we do have. So our aim is to support businesses through online training tutorials and portals, also weekly webinars such as this one, explainer videos, networking events, industry updates, and staff training as well. So the way that we like to position ourselves is similar to a personal trainer, but for a business. So we provide you with the knowledge and the systems that you might need, and we're also there to give you a bit of a push when you might need it. So our big thing is accountability. We know that a lot of business owners may have the knowledge that they need to promote their business, but they might just fall short, or they think they're too busy, or they can't find the time. So that is something that we do try to push as well. Stacey, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Stacey and I am from the Social Summit. Basically what I do is I help businesses grow their social media and increase their sales revenue. That's in a nutshell. And that comes with creating bespoke strategies tailored to each individual business, creating content, running marketing campaigns, and working alongside paid advertising. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous, everybody. I will stop getting tongue-tied throughout. And I work alongside paid advertising companies as well to really boost that sales revenue.
Fabulous. And how long is it that you've been in the social media industry for?
So around 5 years, 3 of which of those was with a really large international group of businesses. And 2 of those are on my own. So I started my business around 2 years ago when I was made redundant, and everyone tells me that I shouldn't tell that story, but I'm like, why? Because that's exactly what happened. I thought it was the worst thing in the world, and basically I've gone from strength to strength since that happened, acquiring many clients along the way, and I absolutely love what I do. So
it's amazing, very inspirational, I think. You're welcome. So what type of businesses do you work with, and have you worked with in the past?
So I work with both corporate businesses and SMEs. Again, talking about the large corporate company that I did used to work with for a number of years, that was pretty cool. That was an international group of law firms. They also had a medical agency. But at the moment, my clientele is truly varied, but it does tend to be a bit of a theme for bars, restaurants, aesthetics clinics, and dentists. So basically all the things that I love, both food and a good set of gnashes. So yeah. No, but on a serious note, I've had some really exciting opportunities present lately, including a company over in Dubai that is very embryotic and it's not over the line just yet, but I'm forever pinching myself that these opportunities are just really starting to flow in now. So pretty mixed, but yeah.
Fabulous. So you've worked with quite a lot of different types of companies then.
Absolutely.
Are there any common issues that you spot in terms of social media with the different companies? Do they all seem to have different issues that they struggle with, or is there one kind of overlining thing?
I think obviously lack of engagement, lack of sales, things like that. What I do find as well, like I see it all the time, is people just post for the sake of posting. It's really like, bad quality content, no real hooks in there to like stop you, to like basically you've just scrolled past it. It doesn't look good. I see this quite a lot, to be honest with you. But yeah.
Okay, so does it seem like people, maybe they know that they need to do it, but they just don't really understand how to use social media or how to get the best from it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's no real strategy behind it, as I say. Like there's no real plan. There's no real, when you plan something, there's an end goal and you can sort of work backwards on, thinking about how you're going to get there. And when you're just posting for the sake of posting, most of the time you won't get where you need to be because you're just you're not really thinking about what you're doing, if that makes sense. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Because sometimes I don't make sense.
No, definitely that makes sense. It's definitely something that I've seen as well. Do you have any advice or tips for anyone like that who maybe knows that they need to post, but they just don't really understand it, or they do it for the sake of it?
Yeah, I'd say like obviously there's lots of online tools out there. There's lots of people that talk about these little bite-sized chunks of information that can really help you get, where you need to be and to just really improve. I think constantly learning and teaching yourself and setting a little bit of, time aside to really focus on your own business. I mean, I'm really guilty of it myself. Like I run
Mhm.
around everywhere for my clients and I totally put everything into doing everything for them. And then I really neglect my own business sometimes, which is terrible as a social media manager. So I am giving mine some love at the moment in the next few weeks. But yeah, I think that's a big one, is just keeping up to date with the trends, really just, researching and getting, there.
Interesting. Okay. And I know that video content and user generated content is really important at the minute. Do you agree in including that in a social media strategy?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, videos, reels, they just do so much better than other content. That's where your real engagement is going to come from. That's also where you resonate with your audience. Everyone sits there and gets stuck down the rabbit hole, don't they, overnight when you're sitting on your
Mm.
phone and you're like, reels, reels, reels. And
Yeah.
the minute you press like on a reel, Instagram automatically knows what you like. So then it's putting more of these kinds of things in front of you. So it definitely needs to be part of everybody's strategy. And I think on top of that, I think it just really helps to give your brand a personality. When people are seeing people, people just love people, don't they?
Mm.
And I think the way content's going at the moment, I know I prefer it, and the engagement speaks for itself. People like a much more relaxed form of marketing. People like to see, even if you're a doctor or a surgeon, you'll see them on Instagram doing like funny TikToky
Yeah.
kind of things. But again, I think that's fantastic, because if I was going to somebody like that, to just look at their Instagram and be like, do you know what? They look like it's a much more relaxed environment. They look quite fun. I feel more comfortable going there. I think it's really huge to include within your brand. I do think it is harder for the likes of the corporate businesses. If you're a law firm, you're regulated, you can't go doing ridiculous TikToks all the time. It's just not coherent with your brand, and also it's not doable. But there are like tricks and tips, that you can get to, where you can step away from some of the more boring stuff, I think.
Makes sense. I know for me personally, when I look at businesses online, and this might just be for me, but if I see a business who has a social media strategy where there's no videos, it's not very personal, I find it a little bit overwhelming, because you almost don't know what you're getting yourself into, especially if you have to go into the place. Whereas if you see videos of the people, you see videos of the environment, when you step into that place, you're already familiar with the faces, you know what you're paying for, and it is more personal, isn't it?
It is, and also it's installing that trust in the brand as well. If people are talking about your brand, this user-generated content, if someone's talking about how fabulous you was, or, they've got a lovely set of teeth, for instance, and they're really just showing them off, that's fantastic for your brand, because straight away, that's, more customers coming through the door, because they're like, oh, where did you get your teeth done? Or, oh, was that a really nice massage? Can you recommend, where I can go, and blah, blah, blah. So I just think, yeah, it's just installing that trust and in your brand as well. It really does help.
Okay. And do you find that video content and user generated content is something that businesses tend to struggle with?
I do. I think again, it's back to that really low. It's my pet hate, honest to God. So like I see on Instagram a low quality video, and it really makes me skin crawl, because I think, why? But like, sometimes you'll see people, you can tell they've WhatsApped it, and obviously when you WhatsApp
Yeah.
a video, it will lose quality, and they'll post it, or they'll post a really blurry photograph, and like things like that. I do see people struggle with it, and I think we all do need to think about, like, it's hard for me to say this, but I'm not good at everything. But nobody is. So it's that, if you're not really that great at like taking videos, get a little bit of help, do a little bit of training. It's back to setting that time aside for yourself. Look at some tips and tricks on the internet. Nobody's perfect and no one can know everything, but it's just about getting them tips and them tricks and them hacks, and really, yeah, just learning. But I do see that is one of the factors. But because I've been talking, I've completely forgot the question, sorry.
No, you answered it. It was just if you find that businesses do struggle with video and user generated stuff. So obviously you've mentioned that the quality of the videos are quite poor. And I think it's quite an interesting point really, because I think a lot of people expect social media because we use it every day. They think that they know it 100%, but you've touched on some really technical things there where people would forget about. They wouldn't maybe realize that if you share a video or an image over WhatsApp to get sign off, that it actually does lose the quality and then therefore maybe doesn't perform as well. So I think that's a very interesting point.
Yeah, and the one thing as well I would say is stock images. I mean, yeah, we all use them from time to time. However, like, no, like,
That's a
I
pet
just
hate of mine.
it really is. And like, I just think they don't look good. You can tell it's not from your brand, you know. And, you know, a lot of Canva, we all use Canva and we all need to at times. But again, it's how you're doing your Canvas. How are you making them look? They need to look spot on. They need to be coherent with your brand. There's plenty of things I'll see where people will post on Instagram and it'll be red, blue, orange, and there's really no consistency to the grid. It doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. I'll jump on and I'll be like, oh God, no. You know, just making it work, that really does matter. People don't think your grid matters, but it does because it showcases your brand. It's showcasing what you're about. If your Instagram looks good, and let's be honest, it's the first place everybody checks. If you're going anywhere, you look on their Instagram. If it doesn't look good, then you're probably going to go, what really makes you want to go there, do you know? So making it stand out, you need to make your brand stand out as well.
Interesting. Just with you touching on stock imagery and quality, and I know we haven't prepped for this one, but what do you think is better? Do you think it's better for people to use grainier, low quality images or stock imagery if they can only choose between the two?
Can I throw a little spin in there? Because what
Absolutely.
I would do, so I tend to so I've got a client over in Ireland and me and him, we go like head to head on this because I'm like, I'm not posting it because it's awful because obviously I can't take the content myself and I'm OCD with it. And he goes, stop being a perfectionist and post it. So we've met a middle ground now. So I do use an app sometimes. You know, I'll use Lightroom or there's another app called Rimini that I use. Where sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the image, but it will really just increase the quality of the image.
Okay.
So there's like AI tools that you can use out there to increase the quality. If the stock image was all right, like I do use them from time to time myself. So if it's okay and it's coherent with your brand and it is high quality, then yeah. But hey, I know not too much writing. Why do people put so much writing on a post? Like, no, nobody wants to see it. It's too much to take in.
Yeah.
Keep your writing small. Remember, you've got the caption there as well. And your caption, which we'll move on to shortly, is where your keywords are and things like that. And you can include all of this. But again, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but yeah.
No, I think that's a great point. So in the caption then, what is it that you would recommend businesses use the caption for or include in the caption?
So there's a few things here and I am jumping about and I have made some notes, so I might get a bit tongue-tied because now I'm not on the notes, so now I'm just winging it and free. So wild, so sorry about me already.
You're fine.
But yeah, I think so. We'll start with hooks. Like you always need a good hook. Now people might go, what's a hook? So a hook is a line that will basically hook in your audience, and that is more important than your visuals. So, you know, if you're doing a reel and it's just, you know, you don't always need a hook, but you're first like on the actual visual. Say you're doing a video and you see a line of writing. Say, for instance, I am a masseuse and I am targeting people who've had really bad back. And, you know, a hook, for example, could be, are you struggling with severe back pain? Straight away, if I'm struggling with severe back pain, I'm going to stop. I'm going to look at this post because I'm like, yeah, I am struggling. What can you do to help me? So they can be used in many ways, obviously on your, well, two ways really, on your actual visual. So you can have it on your graphic or your reel or whatever, and then on your first line as well, because that's the thing that stands out the most on your content when you're posting. And when you're looking at that, other things I would include within my content would be, you know, I always think to myself, like, before I even think about content, it depends who I'm appealing to, and I put myself in their shoes and I think, if I was them, what would make me stop? What would make me stop on this piece of content? Like, comment, share, send it to a friend, or, you know, even just watch till the end of the video. What would make me do that? So I always start with that. And then, you know, say for instance, you are an aesthetics practitioner and you are selling something that makes your face sag, for instance, and your target audience is women over 30, then you would think about what would make them stop. You know, first line, is your face sagging? I know it's brutal, but it's true. I'm like, I look at it myself, I'm like, yeah, I'm nearly hitting 40 soon, it is. What can you do? Like, so including that, and then, you know, include some benefits. You know, if I get this treatment, what's it going to do for me? How long is it going to last? Is it painful? Things like that. Just educate them. All of your stuff is, you know, it should educate people on your businesses, your services. It should look good, and you can include keywords in there too. So they're super important. So what a keyword is obviously it's a say for instance, I'm looking for a dentist in Liverpool. Make sure that dentist Liverpool is within your copy, because if people are looking on Instagram and they're looking in a search term, it's more likely that your piece of content will pop up in front of them, and you can be really clever with that, and you can put quite a few in there, and that really does work. So sorry, off on a tangent. Please tell me if
No, that's perfect. So for keywords, then you would include them in the copy or the text, or the description, I suppose, depending on what platform you're on. And obviously they're the words that people may search to find that information. Would you use your keywords in the content itself, like the videos or the images, or are they best just in the captions?
No, you can use it on both, and it does pick up on both. And I think sometimes it's really good to do it on both and just see where you get to. But what I always say, and I think everyone sort of knows this, is like, you know, have a go. Like sometimes it goes well, sometimes it just doesn't. And you then know, I won't try that again. I think there's no harm in trying, as long as you're analysing your content. You know, at the end of each week, you're looking at, right, what have I posted this week? What's done well? What are the views? What do people like? And did that not really work? Well, we won't do more of them. We'll do more of the ones that are working. And you sort of just keep doing that. Like, there's no harm in trying. There's not. You can't really. The algorithm changes that much. Honestly, like, it drives me insane. I hate it. So like, what works one week sometimes won't work another. Yeah, but that's too complex. I'm not even going there. But yeah, just monitor what you're doing. One of the key tricks that I always find as well is just stay up to date in your sector. Like, a lot of the time people will find viral reels that are already going viral, so you don't have to necessarily reinvent the wheel. All you need to do is find things that are working for other people and put your own little spin on it. See what hashtags they're using, see what keywords they've got, see what kind of content they're putting together. And, you know, I know we want to be like individual and we want to be creative, but there are certain things that you can take from that. You know, look for the things that people are doing good and do them maybe better.
I like it. Okay, cool. So we've talked quite a lot about video content. Are there any other types of content that is quite useful for business owners to use on social media?
Absolutely. I do think, you know, imagery is good. I think it's good to have images. They don't perform as well as reels most of the time, but you know, like if you're doing, it depends on your business really, on what type of images you can post, but that all comes down to your strategy and what you'd do in the beginning. But you know, carousels tend to work and get much more engagement than a normal static post does. So using carousels in your strategy is definitely something you should be doing. And obviously, I don't know whether obviously audios and stuff like that, I think that should have really been covered over the reels, like using trends and sounds. But I think we'll move to that at the end, because I've got a bit of a list which I'm going to reel off to you to just give you some key tips. I don't want to jump before them. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. And also your stories. Utilize it, because I'm freelancing it now. I'm like, the notes have gone. So
that's fine. Carry on.
I'm all over the place now. Your stories are super important, and I say this all the time. Like, you really need to be utilizing them, because what happens is people that see things on your feed. I'm terrible for this. Like, on my own personal Instagram, I have friends and they go, "You haven't liked nothing of mine for months," and I'm like, I don't see it because it goes down so fast. Yeah. But I'll see a story because I'm constantly on my stories more than I am my feed. So you might miss something on a feed. However, you might catch this on a story. So your story is where your warm audience will sit. These are people who already follow you, who already are invested in your business, who want to see what you're posting. And even if they don't, if you post a story, it's just there, and they probably just will anyway. And you're constantly staying fresh in the mind. So like, I think is it like they need to see it 7 times before they buy? It's like that thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, show them it 7 times. You can repurpose your content, things that you've done a long time ago. You know, if it's still relevant, post it back to your story. Your reels can continuously post them, not overkill, but post them like twice a month. That helps tot up the views. So your views, every time you post a reel to your story, it had people who view that, it tots up to your views as well. So that helps with your engagement too. So yeah, they're also super helpful for me, I find as well.
Okay, interesting. And obviously social media isn't just about what you post. So is there anything else that businesses can do on social media to grow and to get more clients other than just posting on it?
So I've just gone back to my notes and we've already covered the high quality, because I just keep saying it because it is a pet hate of mine. But again, I think it's just making sure you're resonating with your target audience, going back to that, making sure like I'm posting this, but why am I posting it and who am I appealing to? Just always remember that, because sometimes if you're just, again, posting for the sake of posting, you're not really appealing to anybody. You need to think about targeting the people that you want to bring in for business. I think using collaborations, like collaboration. So when you are posting, if you're, say, for instance, a beauty brand, collaborate with the beauty brands, that they might not accept it, but they might. So what happens with a collab is you will post a piece of content on your Instagram. Now, when you collab, and you can collab with up to 6 people, I think at the moment, I think that's right. When somebody will accept a collab, not only will your own followers see that, you will have the people who you've collabed with will also see that. So you are instantly getting your brand put in front of multiple, like much more people, and many more people are going to see that, which will A, help with engagement, B, get your brand seen, help with your following, and you know, you're getting more potential customers there. I think again, we've already covered the keywords and the content. I think that's a good strategy, and that should always be included. Hashtags at the moment, I'm just a bit like this, because one minute you're getting told use loads of hashtags, then you're getting told don't overkill them. So at the moment, I think it's like don't overkill them, but you know, keep them relevant as well. If you're going to use hashtags, you know, do your research. Again, I think I'll follow up with some helpful links to you all after this as well. Like there's places you can go that will give you good hashtags to use that are relevant to your brand. But I think as well, make sure you use your location relevant ones as well. So like things like just putting in Liverpool sometimes might help, and using your location when you do a post. If you put your location as Liverpool, that's quite broad. So, but yeah, just for example, Liverpool, people who are searching Liverpool will see your post. Things like that I think are really, really good. I've got a little list that I made for you. Shall I go over it?
Of course.
Okay, how long have we got?
We've got a minute, but we can go over it. It's fine.
Okay, so look, these are just like dead. I don't want to be here forever, which is like, well, I probably do, I can't, but no. So key points to remember, right? One thing I always say, don't post and ghostwrite, because the algorithm hates that. So when you have someone who's engaged with your post, someone who's commented on there, make sure you're commenting back. Make sure that you are, you know, checking your DMs. Like if you're not checking your DMs regularly, your potential clients have probably got 4 people that they're looking at that are doing the same as you. If you're not quick in there, you're not getting that tail over the line. You're wasting your efforts. Maximize your opportunities of really getting these clients over the line, or getting people in, or whatever it is you do. Make sure you're doing that. Engage with your followers' content. Get your brand out there. So, you know, show your followers a little bit of love. Like your brand will pop up all the time then. So they'll be like, you know, blah, blah's liked your post. You're fresh in the mind, but also you're showing them love. They'll tend to show you a bit of love back, which will help with your engagement. If you're liking other people's stuff, it does tend to be like, oh, they like my stuff, I'll like theirs back. Show them a bit of love and create a bit of a community. Share and respond to all your user-generated content. You know, if someone's tagged you in a story, and also, to be honest, push it. Ask your clients to share. People forget, but you know, if you just say like the biggest help that you could ever give me is to give me a little share on Instagram or give me a little tag, massive, but remember to tell them. Okay, consistency is key. You need to be posting 3 times a week minimum. If you're not doing that, there's no point. There really isn't, because the algorithm will drop, your engagement will fall. Yeah, so remember that one.
When you say post 3 times a week, is that specifically on the feed or stories, or does it?
Oh no, your stories need to be daily. Your stories should be daily, but your feed needs to be at least 3 times a week, and it needs to be a really hybrid mix. But again, that boils down to your strategy, what you're trying to achieve, and where you're going with that. So that boils down to your plan. But yeah, you definitely need to be doing that. And I think as well, so when you're analysing, you know, every week, Instagram, if you're on Instagram and Facebook, the meta's fantastic. It'll tell you who's looking at your stuff, how old they are, is it men, is it women? And it'll tell you what time everyone's, you know, on the best time for you to post, when are people live online. So really just think about that. I mean, for me, most of the time I do find posting first thing in the morning gets the most engagement. But that, again, it boils down to the business. But I find first thing in the morning or 7 o'clock at night, whenever I've tried, and I do, it is a try and test and it is about trying and testing things. If I post 12 in the afternoon, it doesn't really get much. I think 7 o'clock, I always think when people have finished, they've had the tea, they're having a little scroll on their Instagram, it's around 7 o'clock, be in the gym, tends to do well. But yeah, I think I've covered everything in my little list there, maybe. But yeah, I'll let you go now, Holly. I think it's
No, that's fine. It is. It's really useful, and I think you've covered quite a lot there. So one of the things we did want to include in this is, if I was the business owner and I only had 20 minutes per day to spend on my social media, whether that's on posting or the strategy, what do you think is the best way I can spend that time to gain more customers or clients?
I think that is difficult because 20 minutes is a small amount of time. But let's be honest, as business owners, do we even have 20 minutes? It's hard enough grabbing that. So I would personally say go back to the post and ghosting. That's super important. That is rule number one. Get in there, spend at least 5 minutes if you can, just engaging, replying to all your comments, making sure you've liked things, answered all your DMs, and interacting with your potential customers, making sure you're getting your brand seen. That is number one, super important. Obviously, then I'd spend 10 minutes creating some content or putting some content together, maybe scheduling some. You might know that you might not have enough time to do it for the rest of the week. Utilize scheduling tools whenever you've got a little bit of downtime, get that in there. And again, I can follow up with some helpful links for you to follow and have a nose at. And then I think the other 5 minutes I probably would spend, again, just learning, you know, look at the people in your industry. So just have a little, once you start liking them things anyway, that'll just be automatically what your feed will become, because the algorithm will know that's what you're looking at. So your reels will start looking at people who are doing the same stuff as you, or these social media experts that are giving you those really like bite-sized chunks of the golden nuggets that you need to sort of get these tips and tricks. And do you know what? There's so much out there, and it really is helpful, honestly, to just keep following these people. And to be honest with you, I'm going to start doing this myself within the next month when I do my rebrand. So if you follow me, I will start giving you little tips and tricks, and you'll have to listen to my Scouse accent quite a bit.
Okay, that leads us on to the last question then. If people would like to follow up with you and find out more information about your services, where can they find you?
Yeah, so Instagram, at the moment, as I say, I am going through a rebrand, so please don't judge me Instagram, because it is looking quite messy, but it's going to look gorgeous in about 2 weeks. So the social summit, it is Stacey with an E, so hang on, no, that's a lie. The _social summit _, but we can follow up with that anyway. So you can find me there, and I will be launching my website as well, but I don't want to give you that because it's in draft and I don't want you to see until it's
Okay, fabulous. I've just put your Instagram handle in the chat there as well. So if anyone wants to take that and go over to Instagram and give her a follow, that'd be really helpful. And just a little reminder before we go, just about Start Digital, if you haven't heard of us already, we do aim to support businesses through our online training portal, webinars, explainer videos, networking events, industry updates, and staff training. the staff training I think is really, really useful. If you don't want to get involved in that, we do these weekly webinars. So hopefully if you like this one, you'll like the next one, which will be more about email marketing as well. So just before we go then, Stacey, have you got any final words? Any words of wisdom?
I do actually. I've always got something to say that. But all I was going to say was, look, I've been there, I've done it. We've all got to start somewhere. You know, just give it a go. I've actually scheduled some time out in my diary tomorrow to basically follow up. If any of you have got like something you're struggling with that I haven't covered today, or something I've said today that you'd like to dig in more to, please just reach out to me. Honestly, I've got a couple of hours tomorrow. I want to reply to your comments, send these links that I've referred to. You know, any help that you need, please just reach out. We've all been there, and I love to see people do well. So yeah, please do reach out. Great. And also thank you for listening to me.
No, you've been a great guest. Thank you very much for coming on with us today. Okay, everyone, I hope you have enjoyed our webinar. And as I said, Stacey's link is in the chat to her Instagram. And also, if you want to speak to us with any support, whether it's socials or anything else, socials, we probably direct you to Stacey, but anything else we can help with, just click on that link below. And I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day.
Oh, thank you, Hal, and thank you, everyone. I can't see you, but thank you.
Thank you, whoever you are.
Yeah.
Later.
Have a nice day, everybody.
Bye.